Hi everybody, Al Bernstein here with another one of my quick hits videos, and for today's video we are going to talk a little bit about what looks like it's the return of one of boxing's top fighters, Andre Ward, as he signs a contract with RocNation, the new entity in the world of boxing, and Andre Ward, it appears, is headed back to the ring very soon, and boxing fans will get a chance to see him fight again. Now, let me introduce the producer of our Boxing Hangouts, Dan Parks, who, of course, is with us all the time. And Dan, we were with Andre Ward at the Hall of Fame last year when he was in his kind of in flux about fighting.
Yeah, he was at a point where he was literally didn't know what his next move was going to be. At that point, he had already lost one of the lawsuits, I believe, with the Goosens. And but we did have a wonderful day there with him up on the platform. That's when everybody was getting their fists all put in. What do they call that? The fist.
Yeah, plaster of Paris.
Plaster, when they do the plaster and the whole thing. And he was up there. We did a great interview with him and Glenn Johnson, actually, which is if you take a look down below, viewers, you'll see a link that will show you that from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was a fun afternoon. So this weekend, a big weekend for this new entity, RocNation, which is run by Jay-Z. First, they merged the company of Gary Shaw, Shaw Promotions, with them, kind of usurped them, if you will, and made them part of their wing, which brought many boxers to them, which is part of their issue, the signing boxers. That was number one. Number two, of course, their first show on Fox Sports 1, the first promotional effort they've had in Madison Square Garden. And then the third is Jay-Z getting together with Andre Ward and David Iskowitz, who runs RocNation, obviously a big part of this, and Andre Ward signs with RocNation. Now, what this means for boxing fans, which is the primary concern, is that Andre Ward, who has had a large period of inactivity, partially because of injury and for the most part because of his legal issues with Goosen Promotions, is that fans will get a chance to see Andre Ward back in action. He has lost months and months and months from his career, and now he's back, still young enough to fight in major fights against the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Julio Cesar Chavez, maybe a rematch with Carl Froch. Who knows? He could move up to the light heavyweight division. Wouldn't you love to see Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev together? I mean, dream a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
That part is really good. And I'm going to get back to that part in a moment. First, I'm going to revisit, though, because it's a part of this story. The one part of the story that's bittersweet, in my opinion, and it merits talking about for a moment, is the fact that this comes on the heels of all those legal actions in which Dan Goosen on the left and Andre Ward had a bitter split. Some months ago, Dan passed away, and today I talked to representatives at Goosen Promotions, and they said, we're not issuing a statement on this. As far as we're concerned, this is an issue that is closed for us. Clearly, there was some kind of release granted to Andre Ward, the details of which are not public. But somehow, release was made of Andre Ward, and he was free to sign with RocNation, even though, as you pointed out, Goosen Promotions had prevailed in most of the legal battles. For me, this was all very difficult because I counted as a lifelong friend Danny Goosen, and I count Andre Ward as a friend. And so for me, watching this all play out, I have to be honest, was, on a personal note, distressing. Having said that, boxing fans certainly want to see Andre Ward back in the ring, and I think it's important that they do see him in the ring because he's one of the major fighters in boxing. He is, from a skill standpoint, certainly one of the top 3 or 4 fighters in the world. There's absolutely no question about that, and many of the matchups will that he could potentially be in will help energize the sport. And here's the thing about 2015. And Dan, you and I have talked about this on other broadcasts. Boxing had a phenomenal 2013, a not so great 2014. There were good moments, there were good fights, but for the most part, it didn't build on 2013, which was the best year the sport has had in 25 years. 2015, in my opinion, is an important year for the sport of boxing, and I'm not given to making those kind of statements. So one of the things that needs to happen is that the Julio Cesar Chavez's, the Andre Wards, the Mikey Garcias, the people that have been inactive in the sport need to be back and fighting people that mean something. They're trying to make the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Carl Froch fight. That would be an excellent fight. If Andre Ward comes back, he's probably not going to jump into the ring with Gennady Golovkin, but he needs to fight a top contender in this 168-pound division, a good fighter, before he gets in with some of those other people. I think it's really important for the sport. So the one thing that this does, there's two things it does. One, the signing of Andre Ward and other developments this weekend has demonstrated us that Jay-Z and his RocNation company are not kidding around about being involved in the sport of boxing. They have, quote, put their money where their mouth is. They have, with these moves that they've made this weekend and the beginning of their shows, they've demonstrated that they want to be a player in the sport. That's number one. And number two, what all this does is it gives boxing, I think, a better chance to give the fans a good product during the course of 2015. And that, at the end of the day, is probably the most important thing. So that's our quick hits for today. We'll have a lot more. We're going to have some more this coming week with our coverage of the Stavern and Wilder fight. And Dan, we're going to have a special hangout on Friday, January 16th, in which I'm going to be chatting with Mauro Ranallo, my broadcast partner, on the broadcast.
Mauro Ranallo. Can't wait.
Good impression. I like it.
Well, love Mauro.
Mauro,
he's the best.
Great guy.
Yeah, love him.
And Mauro's going to be with us, and we're going to chat. We're going to break down the fight. Of course, the fight will be seen on Showtime on January 17th, and Mauro and I, along with Paulie Malignaggi, will be ringside to call the fight. So Mauro will be. By the time you hear him on Friday, he will he and I will have watched 8 million minutes of tape, interviewed both fighters until we can't interview them anymore. So if there's anything that can be conveyed to you at that juncture, we will have it in our heads. Hopefully we'll give you something interesting, but we'll have all kinds of information on that. So so stay with us for that and all the other quick hits and boxing hangouts that we bring you here.